Hey guys, this video is for the older kids in my art classes. I'm going to teach you guys how to make this really kind of cool, ornate, opposing fan pattern. And we will add a little bit of color into it when we do ours, but I'll just show you. I was experimenting with some different ideas with pattern making, and I settled on this one just because I just think it ended up looking really good, and it was pretty simple to do. So here's what you're going to end up doing. I am going to show you on Procreate the process here. You need a paper, pencil, definitely something to color with, I would think, at the end, and a straight edge. I mean, you got to have that ruler of some sort. So what I'm going to do for this is that I'm going to be using Procreate, so I'm going to draw the edges of my paper so you can see what I'm doing a little bit more clearly here. So instead of using the actual perfect rectangle tool, I'm just drawing it myself. So forgive me if it's not perfect. Anyways, I'm going to reduce the size of my line to more of what a pencil line would be, perfect. And what I'm going to do, or even it's a little wider than that, mine's more like a Sharpie line here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect one corner to the other across my paper. And so what this does is it separates my paper into two equal triangles. I got two right triangles here. You guys can see that, got the right angle. And what you are going to do is you're going to start at one of your corners and you're going to create that fan pattern. So start at one corner, straight edge your line across, leave it about a ½ inch apart. I think that's a good distance. If you want to do a 1/4 inch to make it look a little bit tighter, like the one that I showed you in the little kind of introductory video, you definitely can. But this will speed you up your first time through. I always encourage you when you're trying something for the very first time, don't bite off more than you can chew. Make it kind of achievable the first time around, because usually your first effort's not your best effort. But mistakes will be made, and we will make them work. So you are going to have your first fan made. Look at that. Nice. Really quick. How fast did I go through that? So I'm making that fan pattern on one side, and now when I switch to the other side, instead of going from here, from this bottom corner here like I just did, I'm actually going to go from the top corner coming down towards me, and that is where I'm going to make my ½ inch wedges form, and that will create this opposing pattern. And so I'm almost honestly halfway done with my pattern making, and then it's just a matter of filling in colors. So we're almost there. We're almost there. I swear, we're almost there. And you might notice that I've got a little bit of an unintentional crisscross. Let me change the color so you can really see. Up here, whoops, I didn't change the color, haha. Up here in the upper right corner, and that's okay. Really, just don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. That's a mistake that I can just tolerate. It's fine. If I were working really, really carefully, I could get rid of it. But next, I'm going to go to one of my other two corners. I'm going to actually go back to my red real quick so you guys can see. I'm going to choose either one of the top left or the bottom right corner. In this case, just because I feel like it, I'm going to go top left. So you're going to go up there, bring your line down, and your straight edge, remember, ½ inch from the next side. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let me back up 2 steps here. I apologize. I'm first going to separate my paper in half again the other way. Excuse me. I skipped ahead. And then you're going to create that fan pattern again from that same corner that we just talked about. Remember, about ½ inch, keep it consistent. Whatever you do, your pattern just has to be consistent. Consistency is key. That's going to be my mantra for everything pattern making. So the cool thing about that is that if you create a consistent way to make a mark, and you can repeat it, then you can create your own pattern making formulas. So this is my own. I'm absolutely positive that other artists have done this too, but I came across making this pattern just on my own experimentation, recognizance, and sometimes it's a lot more fun to find it yourself. It feels very rewarding. So if you can make a mark consistent over and over again, then just do it. So you can see I'm already getting that really cool pattern forming. Now I'm going to go to the lower right corner, and I'm going to have my fan come out from there. And this actually looks very much like, I know you guys at some point in the 6th grade at least talked about the parabolic patterns on graphs. It looks very much the same. That's a little bit more complicated to do. But we could definitely teach you that in here, but I don't even know if you guys already know it so well that you need me to do it again. So I guess if I happen to hear from somebody in the 6th grade or the 5th grade class, it's like, oh yeah, I totally want to do those parabolic graphs. We will, because those graph patterns look really pretty spectacular. But we have to be a lot more precise to create those. We'll probably have a template to work from. So anyways, I've gotten all the way through. There, done. Ha 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 ha. So once you've done that, this is where I think having some markers, some fine, ultra fine point Sharpies or something is really nice. So I'm going to choose that red, and I'm just going to splash that in. And again, I really encourage you guys to save time. Instead of having your markers and taking them off and doing red and then capping it up and doing green and then capping it up and doing blue, stick with one color. Kind of intersperse that color throughout your pattern as many times as you want. If you want to make it a consistent pattern fill, you know, like a checkerboard, go for it. But I don't feel that's necessary because I'm going to kind of go with a whole bunch of colors. And you guys can see, I'm going to stick on the warm color side for a little bit here. I'm just kind of throwing them in all over the place. And this will save you a lot of time before you cap back up again, because you're not spending half of your drawing time capping and uncapping and snapping it on and making sure it's sealed off and your marker is being protected. You're just going with that same color and kind of bouncing all around your paper and then coming back with the next one. And sometimes I find that's actually easier to make sure that you have a relatively consistent usage of colors. You know, like sometimes if you're capping up, uncapping, you're gonna just spend more time on one color than another. And I feel like if you do this, all you really got to do is count the number of squares, or actually in this case parallelograms or rhombuses that you're filling, and that will, you know, help you. So you go like, okay, I'm going to do 10 of this color, I'm going to do 10 of the next color, and so on. So I just actually made a couple mistakes here. If you look, let me go to, like, I'll do a bright blue because we don't do that yet. I actually have a couple of spots here. I'm going to circle them for you, in which I did the same color next to itself. I would say that's kind of a no-no. So for me, because the computer, I can just correct that really simply by taking a different color and filling that. But here's the thing with markers. There's a problem with markers, which is if I've got like a bright red and I try to put yellow over it, the yellow just gets overpowered by the red pigment. So the rule with markers, it's still the same. You can still cover your mistakes, but you always have to go darker. So the worst color to make a mistake with is like a deep blue or a dark purple, or the worst one of all is black, because then you have to make it into something more intentional. But let me actually give you an example of what would happen if I screwed up this pattern with black and how I would work with that. So if I was going to be doing this and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this one black and this one black, and this is like the color sets that I'm doing, and look, I did two next to each other that were black. Well, then I would kind of go what I would like to refer to as the Mondrian method, which Mondrian did these really beautiful paintings that were very geometric and always seemed to involve rectangles and squares. But one of the things he did is he blacked out sections, and he tended to make those blacked out sections larger than some of the colored sections. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to make it consistent by having the blackout sections be the only ones that can be multiple squares. And if you do that kind of consistently through your work, you can see it looks very much intentional. And I really like this because it brings an element of consistency yet asymmetry, meaning it's not symmetrical, into your work, and that just becomes, I think, a little bit more exciting. I really do dig it just the way it is right there. So I'm just going to keep chucking colors down on this. So at this point in the video, I really showed you what I need to show you. There's really nothing else to teach you. So I will speed this up in the video right here, and I'll catch you on the other side for, a quick goodbye. But yeah, be right back. I think that looks pretty cool. I mean, to be honest with you, it's interesting. It's pretty exciting. I think filling up, like trimming that extra white off if you happen to have some white kick on your paper. I think that just looks really, exciting and different in a sense. So you can really enjoy this. One of the things I would tell you is that this is the exact kind of thing. We got Mother's Day coming up Sunday. This is the kind of artwork that just shows time and effort, because there's no way to shortcut something like this, especially if it was made by hand. So I strongly encourage you, go ahead, do something like this. See if you can. I know it's really tough to get out there, and Amazon's not going to be nearly fast enough, but maybe you got a picture frame kicking around your house. If you can think of to do it in advance, size your rectangle that you're working in to the size of whatever matting or whatever frame, and frame it up. Throw it in there for mom, and give that to her for Mother's Day. She will love it. I'm telling you, creating something that shows effort, that's like, I had to do this for several hours or even like a whole day kind of thing, it shows your love. It's a really cool thing, and it's something, especially just for beauty that way, is going to make a really nice gift. I guarantee you should keep it on her desk, or with her wherever, maybe up on a dresser or something, and she'll be really proud of it. So if you would, yeah, that's a good idea right there. If you don't happen to have mom around to give it to, then grandma is also a mother, and your aunt is also a mother. So definitely consider them in that same sense. Or maybe you have an older sister who happens to be a mom. So definitely try to do something nice for Mother's Day, and this is going to be a great option for you, okay? Have an awesome weekend. I will see you guys later.